Hey y'all, welcome to the AI Agent Challenge. My name is Dylan. I help entrepreneurs win the game of business by upgrading their systems with AI agents and automated workflows. Today, what we're going to be doing is something that is a really common manual task that a lot of, say, real estate agents or other businesses do, where they have some sort of contract or some sort of date that they want to pull out of a contract and put that into a Google Calendar event to remind them that that event is coming up. It's a common practice that takes a ton of time, a ton of labor, and so I'm going to show you how you can do that by using make.com and automated workflows. So if that sounds interesting, let's get into it, shall we? All right, we are here with make.com and we are in the folder for the 30-day AI agent challenge. And we are on, I believe, day 23. And we're going to get started here by clicking on create a new scenario. Start off by calling this day 23 contract to calendar event, just like that. And we're actually going to do something similar like we did before. And if you previously saw the video where we created an AI voice clone podcaster to create AI marketing news, we're going to be using something somewhat similar by watching a document and then pulling out the data out of the document to be able to create the calendar event. So if you didn't see that before, I might link it somewhere in here. But if not, it's in the previous one called the AI marketing news. So we're going to get started with watch a document. So we're going to go inside here and we're going to go into Google Docs and we're going to go to watch a document. And this is just going to be watching for whenever a document gets brought into the system here. And what we're going to do here is I made day 23 here a simple fake purchasing agreement for a home. So you can take a look at it. This is the document. Fake name, fake everything inside of here. But we have just kind of typical information: buyer, seller, property, purchasing price, all this information inside of here, title. But what we're really curious about, what we want to know is we really want this information right here, which is the closing date. Because usually for, say, real estate agents, they want to know or be reminded about the closing event, either to send flowers or do something nice or follow up at what it might not be. But so we want to be able to pull this information automatically and turn this into a Google Calendar event. So the way we're going to be doing that is we're going to go inside of here, click on the folder ID, type in the AI agent challenge, go down to day 23 of the folder structure, real estate agent, and we are going to be clicking on, well, this is actually just going to be watching this document. So we're only going to be looking for one document right now. Now, there's a lot of different ways that we could be watching for the document. In the previous video, I showed you how to do that by searching for the day and the time, but we could search for names. We could search for anytime something happens inside of here. So there's a lot of different ways to do it, but just to keep things streamlined for today, what we're going to do is we're going to choose manually. So instead of from a specific date from now on, just looking for any new documents coming inside of here, we're going to be grabbing the one that's currently available. But later on, we could turn this on to from now on and just have this running. So anytime something new comes in here, we see it, we trigger it, we pull out the information, add it into a Google Calendar event, and then boom, you never need to worry about it. You just automatically upload the contracts into here, and it's always going to be pulling out the relevant dates that are the most important to you. So we'll click OK. We can hit run here as a test to see what we get. And we can see that, yep, we are getting the right information. If we go here to the web view, Command T, enter this, we can see that we are getting, this is the document. So great. It does work. We've gotten the first step of the process along here. The next thing we're going to do is get the contents of the document. So now that we have that, we want to be able to not only watch document, we want to be able to get the information inside of it. Again, this was like before about making the AI marketing podcaster, but we're not going to be pulling a script. We're going to be pulling relevant information. I'm going to type in the word get, contents of a document, and then we're going to get the document ID. And this is going to be getting the ID of the document that we're watching, and this is going to allow us to get the context or the data inside of that document. The next thing we're going to want to do is, normally what I'd be doing with these types of things is I'd chuck it over the ChatGPT and OpenAI and say, hey, pull out the relevant information. The only thing is that OpenAI is really protective of uploading documents and data with sensitive information. And so anytime you try to feed it an entire document like that with sensitive information, it'll kick back that, hey, I can't look at this, it's sensitive information. And so sometimes you get a block. And what we're going to want to do instead of that is we're going to go a different direction. We're going to use a thing called a regex or a regular expression to be able to pull out the right information that we're looking for. And we're going to be doing that with a text parser. So we go in here, we type in text parser, select this here, and we're going to be looking for matching patterns, just like that. And this is where we're going to put in the regex expression, and then down here is where we're going to be feeding in the text from the document over here. So we can see it says text content. We can feed that in there just like that. And then in order to do the regex, there's a bunch of ways to do it, but there is an easy way to feed it in, is if actually you do go over to ChatGPT and you say we grab this document like this, Control C, grab everything here, and you can feed it in and say, and like, let's just take a look at this so we can think through this. All right, what do we want to grab? All right, we want to grab anything after the closing date right here. And then when this thing ends right here, this period, and we can tell that there's a new line here, pretty much this is going to be standard boilerplate stuff, and this is probably going to be changing. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask for just this information using a regular expression. We're going to go into ChatGPT, type this in here, and we're going to paste in that document. So we have the legal document in here, and I always like to tell ChatGPT, like, hey, this is fake information. Here is a fake document of a purchase agreement. I want to create a regex for grabbing the sentence after, and let's go down here. I'm going to scroll down here at the bottom. Let's go right here. Command V to paste this in. The sentence after closing date. That should look something like this. All right, see that right there. And then we can also feed it a little bit after that. There will be a space or a new line after the end of the sentence. For example, quotes, writing, and period like that. I'll just reinforce a statement. What is the regex for getting only this sentence after the closing date? Here is the fake. Those are example document. All right, so we fed that in. And you can see right here, it's giving us a regex, and that looks to be about right. So we're just gonna copy the code here, go over to ChatGPT, and before I do that, just so you can see it, this breaks down kind of like how it works and why it works. So it's probably helpful to read this out a little bit so you can see that why it captures the sentence. And it shows you that these different expressions, like this expression right here, lazily matches any character except for the terminators in a few times as possible. This matches the literal period. This matches the space or character inserting the sentence ends correctly. This shows you that this right here is grabbing anything after this, and this is going to be grabbing the period, and then it shows the space. Anything after that, it stops. This gives you an idea of how it works. We can grab this. We can go inside of make.com right here, feed this in that closing date, and we can look at some of these parameters here and say, okay, what do we want here? Multi-line, single line. We'll put no conditions, execution, even the module finds no matches. Yes, cool. And let's just run this right now as is, and let's see how this fares. So I'm gonna go here, choose where to start, manually, grab the agreement, hit run now. Okay, bundle empty. Okay, so we see that we're getting this, but we're getting an empty bundle. So there's something going on with that that's not working. And this is where we would go back and forth a little bit with ChatGPT and kind of say, why is this not working? So let's do that, and let's be more specific. So I'm going to go inside of here, and we're going to grab this information. So I'm going to grab this closing date, just this. Go down here, and we can put inside of here, when I use that regex, it's outputted an empty output. Here is the exact sentence that I want to capture after closing date. And I can also say, also note that there may be some hidden new lines and spaces after closing date and after the period at the end of the sentence. Let's account for that as well. Here is the example. Let's feed that back in. All right. So you can see here what it's doing here. It's showing you that it's giving a little bit more wiggle room for the closing date. It says lazily matches any characters, a caption on groups that match the period followed by the number, space, and new lines. So let's give this a run through. We're going to go through here. We're going to go into make. We're going to go here, closing date, and we'll paste this back in like that. We're going to mark this as global matches, case insensitive. No, we don't want that. I'm going to run that. Click OK. Hit save. Save anyways. Go here. Choose where to start manually. And then if I have to do this a couple more times, I might just bring over the text and drop it into the text parser directly. Run away. Cool. All right. There we go. All right, so now we've gotten that sentence. So we've been able to strip that out of the document automatically, and we don't need to have to worry about ChatGPT shutting us down for grabbing private information. So now that we have that, what we can do is we can use ChatGPT to now format it in the style that we want to have it. And Google Calendar uses a unique format to be able to bring in calendar events. And so we want to train ChatGPT to say, hey, here's the sentence coming in, strip it out. Here's the format of what it looks like. We want to be able to turn this into the format that is accepted by Google Calendars. We're going to do that by going to here. We're going to click OpenAI, create a ChatGPT completion, select that model. We'll select the 4.0 system, add a message, hit the roll, system message. This one's going to be a little bit lengthier because I'm going to feed it a couple of different prompts because I want to make sure it gets this format right. So we're going to do a few shot prompting. Right, we're going to give a couple of different examples, and you're going to see what this looks like. And just for sake of not needing to type in the whole thing and hear me drone on, I'm going to paste in what this is. I'm going to explain it to you right now. You're a helpful writing assistant. Your job is to pull out the information into the text from the text provided and find the data mentioned and then convert it into a new format. For example, let me close this out. For example, the date is the 17th of July. We'll turn that into the format of YYYY, which is year, month, which is these two, MM, date, with it, which is DD, which is the day, and then T is time. What here I'm saying is what time of day. I'm picking 8 a.m., so this is the format at 8 a.m., and this format right here is putting me in the format of Pacific Standard Time. It's going to be different for you. If you want to figure out what that looks like, you can ask ChatGPT, what does that format look like for me if I'm on the East Coast, the West Coast, and it will give you different times. But this is, I think, from wherever the center time is minus 7 hours, Global Standard Time or something to that effect. You will turn this data mentioned, for example, and we feed a little example like this, the 17th day of July into 2024. And so this is what it's going to look like. So we give an example. We're going to be 2024, July 17th at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, I want this at 8 a.m. because I want the calendar reminder to pop up in the calendar at 8 a.m. for the real estate agent or whoever the person might be. So if I want to change this to 6 a.m., I just change this from 6. If I want to have it be 9 a.m., I change it to 9. But I just want it always to constantly kick out these standard times at 8 a.m. And so that it knows whenever it gets new information, oh, I should probably do this at 8 a.m. So we're going to say, okay, that works. We're going to go down here a little bit. We're going to add a new message. And now we're going to go back and forth as user and assistant just to feed it in a couple of different examples. So we'll type this in. Say, I'm just going to feed in some different closing dates and then feed in some examples. Say this is what I want this to look like. So we're going to say the closing date here is July 20th, 2025. The user is going to say that. and we're going to tell ChatGPT as an assistant, well, we want you to respond in this format, right? And so that format would be 2025 for the year, '07 for July, the 20th, which is the day, and then T for time. We're going to say at 8 a.m. and then dash 07:00, which basically means Pacific Standard Time. Go back 7 hours from, I think, is like Greenland or something. Okay, so now it's got one example of that. We're going to feed that in again, but we're going to change the prompt a little bit. So we can copy this date and we can feed in a couple more examples. Copy this, go here, roll, user, paste. And instead of being on the day of 20th, let's do the 10th day of January 2024. And we're just going to give it a little bit of variables inside of here. And if we were to grab this format here and paste this in, so instead of being the closing date is on January 10th, 2024, we want the assistant to respond and format it properly. So we have 2024, the month of January, which is '01, and this is going to be on the 10th, and we're going to leave everything else the same. Now we're going to copy this format one more time, so it's got 3 examples, and it goes, I get it, I get what you want me to do. And we're just going to alter that again one more time. Paste in the user, go in here, closing date, and we'll pick another time. So instead of the 10th, we'll just say the 29th, and we can say December, and we'll 2025. And now we're going to add in the assistant's response. And all we can do, we can go copy this again and just do some modifications. Paste this down, enter. We said 2025. We want this to be December, which is 12. And we want the date to be the 29th, so we change that to 29. There we go. All right, that looks solid. And now what we're going to do is add message. We're going to say it's the user again. Hello, the user has come knocking. And now we're going to be feeding back this text variable right here. And so that is the data we're going to be getting. It didn't populate in here, so we're going to run that. It should populate. We'll take a look at that, see what happens. Tokens, I'm like, not even 500, probably 300, but we'll just leave that as is. All right. All that looks good. Click OK. Click OK again. We'll hit save. And now we are going to pick where to run from. Choose where to start. Manually. Purchase agreement. Select OK. Hit run. See this run across. I gave 2 outputs. Interesting. Let's see what these 2 outputs are for. Output 1 is for June 14th. Let's scroll down here. Choices, message. I'm here to assist you. Please provide the context. So it looks like we're creating 2 output bundles right here. So let's grab this second one. I think I grabbed the top one. So let me go down one to the second output bundle of what we're looking for, because I think I was grabbing the top, which was grabbing both of those bundles. So I'm going to click OK. I'm going to hit save here. I'm going to go across, and we're going to run this again. If not, we can always do a new regex, and the regex might be a bit tighter. So we're going to go here, choose where to start, choose manually, purchase agreement, hit OK. Run again. Still 2 output bundles. We're getting the right one on the first one. We can go here and see what are we doing here. The closing date, case sensitive, multi-line, single line. Are we feeding it the wrong information? Let me see here. Continue the execution of the routes even if the module finds no matches. We're going to put no for this because it might be grabbing multiple pieces of information because it's not finding the first bundle. So let me hit save like that. We're going to go over here. We're going to choose where to start. We're going to run this one more time. If not, I'm going to go back and I'm going to update that regex. 1, 2, 3. 2 outputs. Okay, so let's update the regex. Okay, so we're going to go back into here, I'm going to go here and we're going to type this. We are working in make.com and the text parser is out 2 bundles with this regex. Can you update the regex so that it only outputs 1 bundle? All right, regular expression only captures 1 bundle and does not produce multiple bundle matches. We can modify the regex to precise match the sentence. Accounting is possible. New lines and closing dates. Here is the new one. Great. All right, so we're gonna grab that. We're gonna go with make.com. Let's back out, just like that. Click over there. We'll hit OK. Click OK, just like that. Choose where to start. Choose manually. Purchase agreement. Click OK. Run once. All right, there we go. All right, choices, messages, output, and we have the format that we want. All right, good, great. So now we've gotten the format that we want, output in only 1 bundle, and sometimes that's just what you need to do with it. You go back and forth and do this kind of pair programming with ChatGPT until you get the results that you want. Now we can go ahead and create an event with the Google Calendar. So we'll go to Google Calendar. Click here, and we're going to type in create an event, just like that. It's going to ask for the calendar ID. I choose my primary one right here. An event name, what was this called? Purchase agreement? Closing date. Closing date for purchasing agreement. And we don't want to have it an all-day event. Sometimes they disappear on me, so that's why I wanted to feed in this date right here at 8 a.m., like content specific. And for the end date, we can actually feed in, that's not really required. We should be able to just get away with the start date because this is bolded. I think we can get away with just that. And that should be good. Now we're going to do show more advanced settings, because one of the things that's really nifty that we can do here is because we're getting that ID from the document originally over here. You can see this is the original purchasing agreement title and description, all that. What we want to be able to do is be able to reference that in the description. So if we open this up, we are going to be looking for web view link right here. You see that pulsating? So this is the web view link of the document of the contract. So we can put that right here and go in the description, go, here is the purchasing agreement for your reference. And there's the link. If we want to add in a reminder, see method could be, we want to have an email sent to us and we want to have it sent 10 minutes beforehand so we get notified. And then that would be a good reminder to have in place for this. And everything else sends a notification about the calendar event, visibility, all that fun stuff. That should be good. We'll click OK. And now we should be solid. We're going to choose where to start for manual. Click the purchasing agreement. Click OK. And just hit run. Oh, calendar issue. What happened? Parameter invalid start. Well, let's see what was the parameter it kicked out. Choices, messages, index. Apologies for any confusion, but appears one wasn't a specific date mentioned in example. What would you please let me convert it? Okay, so let's go back to here. Closing date for the sales taking place on this. So we have that right here for this bundle. I'm going to open this up. This is messages. Look at this. Wasn't able following a specific date mention the format. How would you like me to convert it? So if we look at the messages included, we see that the content coming in is like this. So we are grabbing the right data input. July 20th this. So we got that. All right. Oh, so it looks like the user just fed 1. So it looks like it grabbed the 1. It just didn't grab this. So it looks like we're getting these 2 bundles here instead of just 1. And then what are we feeding this inside of here? Let's go down. The I. We're grabbing the I inside of here. So we need to grab the money sign 1. All right. So let's try that again. Closing date. Well, Well, there's two ways to handle this. One, I could just go in and I could just switch this to the first one, but it looks like the first time we grabbed it was one way, the second time we grabbed it was another way. We could go back and refine the regex again as well. But another way to do it, and I just want to show you another option here on how to fix this, is we can use a text aggregator and we can just dump them both in, and we can just have it be sorted out by ChatGPT because we're grabbing the bulk of the information. So if we go to, say, text aggregator, what this is going to do, right, just like that, is we're going to be able to have the source be from the text parser right here, and we can grab both of this information, and then what we can do is we can use the text aggregator to be able to sort out the whole thing. ChatGPT is going to read it and then just pull out the data format no matter what. So now that we have that, we're going to go down to the system here, switch this out, we'll go to text aggregation, just like that, and everything else should work just fine. Now there'd be a bunch of different ways, but I just want to show you a different way to handle this. All right, hit save, choose where to start, choose manually, which is agreement. Okay, this did not work. Missing the time. What is happening here? Choices, message. This is the right content. What is the variable? What does it say here? Missing end time. Okay, so it looks like we do need that. All right, so then we'll go ahead and dump this back in. Normally when this is bolded is when it's mandatory, but it is mandatory. So now we have the start time, end time. All that's great. Click OK. And let's go ahead and choose where to start one more time. Purchase agreement in here. We're going to run this across, everybody. All right. What's the next error we got? Invalid parameter start and end time. It's saying that this is invalid. Let's take a look at the format. What are we getting here? Choices, bundles, messages. That format is correct. Looks like it's correct. Invalid date parameter, invalid end time parameter. Let's take a closer look at this. Choices, 1. Messages, 2024, July 13th, at T800. That looks to be right, but let's open this prompt up and let's just see what this format looks like. Let's paste this next to it. 17. Oh, it's doing a little space here. That space is breaking it. Okay. Did we do this? Oh, I did it. That's me. Oh, okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and get rid of that. Go there, we're going to get rid of that format. I entered that in, and so I mistrained the model. That makes sense. Okay. Now that we had that going, and we figured out what's going down, everything else should be fine. Web link, hit save. We're going to run this through one more time. Choose where to start. Choose manually. Purchase agreement. Hit OK. And run. Okay. There we go. We did it. Now, if we go here, we have the description. Here's your purchasing agreement. We can see that the output here is the link. And if we go over to the actual calendar, so if we go into the calendar, I think this is where it's at. There it is. We have July 13th right here at 8 a.m. purchasing for the agreement. Perfect. Here's your purchasing agreement for your reference. And there is a document. If we click on this document, it opens up. Boom. There we go. All right. So now all we need to do to have this up and running is we'd switch this to have this go and run. Instead of at regular intervals of every 15 minutes, you could if you want. We could say every day at 6 a.m. We'll click OK. We'll have this running. And when we go and hit save, and now if we pick the 6 a.m. right here, by going to every day, turning that on, flip the switch right here, And now this document's going to be running. So now that we turn this on, every single day this would be running. This would be watching for new documents that were going into this folder or this drive. And it would be then taking those things, pulling out the relevant times, and then adding Google Calendar events. The only downside at this moment is that it would grab the same documents again and again and again, and it would make a whole bunch of calendar events for the exact same things. What we're going to have is one more step. And this is the other step that we're going to want to do, is we're going to be able to move this to another folder. We can go inside this real estate document right inside of here. We'll create a new folder, and we'll call this folder Contracts with Calendar Reminders. And then the next step of this process is, so once this system runs through, what we're going to want to do is we're going to grab this next step. We're going to go in and we are going to grab that ID, but we're going to go and grab a Google Drive folder. We're going to open up our Google Drive module. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to go down to, let's type in move files and folders. We'll log inside of here. And we're going to look for the file ID. The file ID we have from the initial, from the very beginning over here. If we scroll down here to the file ID, let's go, see, there's the document ID right there. So that's what we're watching for. So we're going to grab that initial document that we already had that we've then added the dates to, and we're going to move it to a new location. So we'll go into Agent Challenge, Real Estate Follow-ups, Contracts with Reminders. Click that twice. So now, when we run this, this should run the entire process of not only adding the calendar event, and we can go inside this calendar event inside of here. We'll go and delete this. But this should run, and then when we turn it on, it'll run every single day. So let's run this right now. We're going to choose where to start, because this is going to be looking for the date that's already in here versus a new one that just comes in. So we're going to run this module right now. It's going to go through the process, parse it, grab it, add the calendar event, and then move it over. And we should have this. Yep, we've got the new date added here again. And if we go inside of here, we can see that this is gone from this folder section to now it's inside of here, the new purchasing agreement inside of here. And so now all we need to do is leave this thing on and running, and then whenever we want, we can have our client or for ourselves dump in new agreements in the top of the level here, and then Make will watch that happening on this side, and then run that through the entire process, add the date, and then dump it into the new folder. And that's it. That's how you can pull out important events out of contracts or documents and be able to add that as a Google event to remind you or your clients for the important dates that are inside of these contracts. If you like this, feel free to give this a like, a subscribe, or a thumbs up. And if you enjoy these types of things, this is what I cover. AI, automations, marketing AI and automations, automated workflows for business. So if you find that interesting, feel free to give me a follow on this wonderful AI journey. Thank you so much. Have a blessed and beautiful day, everybody. And I will see you on the other side. Bye now.